Today we're going to be talking about if drill sergeants are really as bad as people say. But without further ado, let's get to it. What is up, guys? Ben Allen back again with another video, and like I just said, we're gonna be talking about drill sergeants today, right? And whether they're as bad or as scary as some people like to say that they are, you know, coming out of basic and maybe out of AIT/OSIT. But before we get into that, be sure you guys like this video, give it a big old thumbs up, helps push the video out to a larger audience, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. We also have a Discord link down in the description box below if you want to join that. There's over 300 people in there that can help answer your all's questions, or you can follow me on Instagram at @BenAllen. Best possible place to reach me. I'd greatly appreciate it. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the topic of this video. Drill sergeants, right? You hear a lot of these stories from people that are either currently in the Army, or that have been in the Army, or that are getting ready to go to the Army, or people that have never really served and heard from somebody's cousins, brothers, uncle, whatever, that they're the scariest people in the world, right? That just depends on the person, right? Some drill sergeants are good, some are bad, some are in the middle of good and bad, right? And some are just super chill. Honestly, it just depends, right? You're gonna get a mix. Typically, the way it worked for my basic training was we had like 3 drill sergeants per platoon, right? So I was first platoon. We had a senior drill sergeant, right? So he's like the head honcho, he's in charge of that platoon. He has like 2 other drill sergeants that are there with him to like assist and other things like that. And typically you might have like a newer drill sergeant in the mix out of those 3. So there'll be like the senior drill sergeant, then there'll be like the one second in command, he's like in the middle, and then you have like a third one who might have the same amount of time as everybody else or whatever, or they're just new to being a drill sergeant and they're there shadowing, learning, things like that. Those typically are the ones that like have something to prove, so they might be a little meaner than usual. It just depends on the person, right? I've seen some drill sergeants that, you know, just got put on orders for drill sergeant school and they don't even want to be there, right? So they're just super chill, they're like real lackadaisical, they're like, whatever, fucking let's just train these guys and be done with the day. There's others that take that shit to heart. They're like, if you don't train the way you fight, you're gonna die in combat, you know, stuff like that, you know. And rightfully so. They might have been in a couple deployments, they might have seen some shit, so they're speaking from experience, and they just want to train you up properly, make sure you're good and ready for whatever it is you may face in your Army career down the road. For example, right, like our drill sergeants, we had this one drill sergeant to this day, still pretty scary, not gonna lie. This guy was always yelling, always screaming, and then he'd be like eerily calm. You'd be like, oh my god, bro. And then as soon as he stepped in the room, like everybody just like shivers up their spines. They're like, oh, we better be on our shit or else we're gonna get fucked up. I remember some dude had like a cookie from the not the defect, but they had like hot A's in the field, and he kept it, and they found the wrapper, and he smoked the dog shit out of us until he found out, or somebody confessed, you know, who brought the cookies or whatever from the defect / you know, little field defect, I guess. That was fun. We did burpees in the cold for like hours. It was a real nice experience. We had another drill sergeant who was infantry, and so he was real, like, he was kind of like real chill. He was like medium, but if you were doing something wrong in training, he'd like flip his shit, bro. Like he would just go off on you. He'd be like, is that how you're actually gonna be out there in the real world, blah blah blah, and just going off. Then we had another one. She was like chill, but like real hard to read. Like you would look at her and she'd be like looking at you, and you wouldn't know if she was like mad or just like in a neutral state. And so you're just like, okay, well, I'm gonna just play my cards right and not do anything stupid around this drill sergeant. That's a good rule of thumb. Just don't do anything stupid at basic training and you should be okay. It's not that hard to not fuck up. If you keep on fucking up, you're gonna know, because they're gonna smoke the dog shit out of you repeatedly until it gets into your head. You're either gonna be strong or you're gonna be smart. I like to lean on the smart side, but regardless, they do believe in mass punishment. At least they did in our platoon. If one person messes up in basic, everybody messes up in basic. Chances are you're all gonna get smoked for whatever one person did. One person's late, you're all late, that type of stuff. And then we had another platoon who just had nothing but like straight up mean drill sergeants. They were always staying late. They were always like just in trouble, or just something, nothing was right or whatever. We had our drill sergeant, we did like competitions in basic, and even if we won, like we won like first out of drill and ceremony, and he just was like, nah, I'm not even giving you guys the ribbon, because honestly that wasn't up to my standards. And we're like, okay, cool, we won, but he was like, it's dog shit. No, you guys aren't doing it. You guys aren't getting the reward. And we're like, all right, cool, whatever. And so that's just like a mix, right? During Shark Attack, just expect every drill sergeant to just be in your face. Like, they're just trying to scare you. They're trying to like make sure, you know, that you don't break easily. Like, we had some people cry during our Shark Attack. It was crazy. And if they see that, they're probably just all gonna swarm you and just start yelling at you, smoking you, and just making you do a bunch of different dumb stuff. We had one drill sergeant from 2nd platoon come into the 1st platoon bay, and it was like the middle of the night, and he was just like, yeah, wake up, fuckers. And so we're all like towing the line, and he's like, we're gonna do some changing drills just for the fun of it. And so changing drills is, he gives you a uniform and you have to change into that uniform like within a certain amount of time, right? It's an unreasonable amount of time. So he'd be like, all right, OCP top, PT shirt, PT shorts, green sock, PT sock, boot, running shoe. And you have to like go through your locker. You're tearing up your locker, trying to find the stuff you need. And it was just, it's crazy. It's just not fun. And then your locker's messed up. So now when your drill sergeants from 1st platoon come in, they look at your locker and you didn't put it back, you're getting fucked up for that too, because your locker's always supposed to be nice and neat. It was just nonstop like fuckery and basic, honestly. And again, the drill sergeants, they're just doing their job. Or at least they're trying to have fun while they do their job, because I know sometimes being a drill sergeant isn't the most glamorous of positions, right? They work long hours, they're putting in a lot of time and effort that sometimes really doesn't feel like, I guess, what's the word, like rewarded, I guess, because like most of the trainees are, oh, I hate my drill sergeants, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. But you got to realize they're doing their job too. Some of them are just forced to be there, some of them choose to be there. It just depends. But overall, I think you learn to appreciate them as the cycle goes on. You think in the beginning like, oh, they're out to get me, they're mean, they're bad, whatever. And then towards the end, you realize that they're people too, and they're just trying to turn you from a civilian into a soldier. And that's just how it is, right? They gotta be that way in order to elicit a certain type of response from you guys, right? Your fight or flight, and train you to where you need to be. So I think at the end of the day, they're not as bad as people make them out to be, right? But again, it's hit or miss, right? I know some of you guys in the comment section might be like, no, my drill sergeant was straight up Satan himself, you know, and that's understandable because I know people can be that way. But overall, even though we did have some mean drill sergeants, whatever, I think they had their best intentions and best foot forward, you know, when doing that. So I respect that, and I've come to my own personal decision that they're not as bad as people say. So don't listen to the horror stories. Make your own assumption of your drill sergeants, especially nowadays. Like if you ask somebody from like maybe 20 years ago how their basic was, they'd be like, oh no, our drill sergeants were like physically beating the shit out of us, like, right? Like that, you hear stories like that. Or oh no, they just kept us in the gas chamber for like hours. Who knows, right? And then nowadays you just hear like people just like, oh, you know, this, that, and the other. So before you guys start getting scared or whatever, you know, just try and go in there with an open mind. Just be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna make my own decisions, I'm gonna make my own opinion, and maybe it won't be that bad, right? But you even hear nowadays like how it's like relaxed a little from what it used to be, so that might be true. Or you might just have drill sergeants that are stuck in the old ways. But only time will tell once you actually ship out to basic training. So if this video helped you at all, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Join my Discord if you aren't already a member of it. There's over 300 people in there that can help you with any questions you might have. And my Instagram is at @TheBenAllen. So if you want to follow on there, ask me some questions, feel free to do so. I'd appreciate it. Be sure to check out some of my other videos. We post a lot of Army related content on here, some public interviews as well, which we barely started doing. And yeah, I will see y'all in the next one. Also, comment down below if you had a good drill sergeant, bad drill sergeant, whatever the case may be, or you know which one you're trying to get when you ship out to basic training. But thank y'all very much. I appreciate it, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.